Yama, g'day everybody. Welcome to Round Table. And this week on the Round Table, the subject is how do we manifest? And seated at our table this week, we have, you jumping in, Bernays? Yep, we got Bernays.
Yeah,
And
I'm here.
yeah, we got Sharon and Donnie. So there's only three of us today. Anyone else want to jump in? No? All right, we'll go, and whoever wants to jump in during the way, we will. So welcome, Bernays, welcome, Sharon, welcome, Donnie. So what do we got? How do we manifest? So are most people aware that we can actually manifest the things that we do? How do we do it? Are there boundaries to what we can manifest? What kind of responsibility do we take when we find out we are manifesting? Do we have respect for other people's creations when they manifest? Do we have the actual freedom to manifest in this day and age? Can manifestation be measured? What does it look like? How does it feel? Can some manifest better than others? And the big question in today's world, how have we contributed to the manifestation of the now? So we might leave that one to the end because that will address how we all contributed to today's mess, believe it or not. So, all right, we'll go back to the beginning. Are most people aware that they can manifest things in their world? And then we'll go, how does it come around? So does anyone want to address that first? Are we aware that we're manifesting?
I'll start if that's okay. Can I start with a story?
Yeah, start however you want to.
Okay. So when I first learned how to do this, because I read a lot of books because I heard a lot about it and I was into the metaphysics, movement big time. But anyway, one of the best things I ever learned was there was a study done in Princeton. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, where they actually tracked Princeton graduates. And there was a certain class, and they tracked them. And they broke them into three different groups. The group that had no plans and just lived their lives. The group that had plans but didn't write them down. And the group that had plans and wrote them down. And then they tracked them for like 10 years or 15 years or 18 years or something. Well, obviously, the ones without many plans kind of drifted. They had an okay life. The ones with plans did better than the ones that drifted. But the ones that wrote their dreams down and where they were going and had a plan did awesome. They did way better than everybody else. And that story really impressed me. And after I heard that story, I started writing everything down, and I still do. I have a dream board, I write everything down, I write down my goals, and I'm always keeping my eye on the ball. I think that's why we're here. I think it's definitely one of the gifts we have to manifest. I think the clearer that you are about what you want, you're doing very good. You'll be very successful in creating it. But the key to it is a light touch. Key to it is not being, yes, Donnie, I go with the flow. Yes, that's the key to it. It's like you cannot put too much energy on it. You have to let it go. It's like you create the idea, you have clarity, but you also need to take action. So, right, God helps those who help themselves. So you also have to work for it. So there's all these different layers depending on, looking for a job or other things that you're trying to manifest. But again, I do think it starts with an idea. It starts with clarity. And it does help if you can write it down and kind of read it and look at it every day. It does help you create it.
Wow. You just put it all in a nutshell, Sharon. No, that's true. I was just yarning to Donnie in the chat there that we do it spiritually because it works spiritually as well.
Right.
Manifestation, yeah, and it's your feelings, your thoughts, and your intentions. And this is why we need to be responsible for what we're manifesting, because, as you said, there's a way to do it, and it's not too much pressure. It virtually happens naturally. So in our day-to-day lives, especially if we're thinking negative things towards ourselves or others, and we think them and feel them, and it's not... it's just happening as we move through our days. After a while, you'll actually start manifesting that, and you don't even know you're doing it because you're not aware of the state that you're in while you're making it. It's that subtle. It can be that subtle. It can be even to the point where someone will make a joke and go, ha ha, that'd be funny if something like that ended up on my truck, and then they left it, and 2 weeks later something like that ended up on their truck, because there's a kind of blasé about it. It's true what you say, Sharon, about if you put too much energy in it, it won't work. And the blasé part is where I don't think we have a lot of responsibility for what we manifest, because we're manifesting all the time higgledy-piggledy without any, what's the word for it, noticing it at all or taking account of it. And then something weird will happen, we'll go, oh, how did that happen? Is that just bad luck? And it's like, if you really sit down and look at what you've been doing for the last 6 months, thinking, feeling, where your energy's going, the whole lot, on a daily basis, what you don't notice, then you're manifesting it. So that's how I see it happening to people. Because I see a lot of people, they go, how did I get where I am? And then I look and go, well, you actually brought yourself here. We'll try and redirect you now. It's not an easy thing, because even the best of us have moments where thoughts and feelings slip by and you're not even aware of it. You just go through it and let it go. And this is how we do it. Go, Bernays.
At the beginning of this, Luna, I called it spilling and spelling. As we're on these chat boards or whatever you want to call them, we're putting our thoughts, our ideas, and they're both, we spill them and we spell them as we're putting it out. And so manifestation, just in that way, in my mind, you're always doing it. And what Sharon said about writing it out, that becomes that you're driving it into your mind to drive it outward. And that's where it is. I got a story too, but Sharon just blew me away with hers. So.
Oh, well, blow us away with yours.
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Well, I got a friend in Canada. He's he's 20 years older than me. I've known this guy for 25 years. And he owns a marina there in Canada. And he grew up as a poor kid. His father came back from World War II as a shell-shocked veteran, and he didn't have anything. And now he has one of the nicest facilities on Lake Erie. But he's 20 years older than me. So I'm talking to him today, and this is the bull. This is the manifesting person that I've seen drive this. But with that, he also is locked in time from what he experienced, and he's unwilling to look at the new turning of the world because he's going to survive it out because of his age. He's going to go along with the system that he's lived with his entire life. And I understand his point. I understand, because he even turned to me and said, well, I ain't going to deal with it because I ain't going to be here. I'm going to go along. So this is people that manifest. They also accept and succumb to the things that they want. And sometimes that's money.
Sometimes it
That's
is money.
That's a very good story, because if I heard you correctly, just because you may be good at creating money or the beautiful fairy or whatever it is he created, doesn't mean that he is going to be able to maneuver his life on certain other things if he doesn't want to. Like he doesn't. If he sounds like he's separating it, and he's going to manifest what he wants, and the rest of it he doesn't want to participate in. Right? Is that the story you were saying? Right?
Yes, correct. He sees it, he understands it, he knows it, but he ain't going to deal with it. He's going to go with the program.
Yep.
Because, and from what I'm getting from his side is, we've now created a rift. The border has, the governments have, between the people. That it's not just. They've got it really well spun. I'll just leave it at that.
Do you believe that the government has done this, or is it a certain set of circumstances at this time that is asking us to choose?
All right, so we're getting into the last question, which is how are we all contributing to today's manifestation? Yeah. So we'll go with that anyway. Well, it has to be a contribution for all of us. It can't just be on one-sided. Their manifestations aren't strong enough to override us unless we're really weak, and I don't think so. From what I observe, we're pretty strong. A lot of us are. They can push us into it, though. I think that's the saturation of fear. So they keep saturating fear, and then you're walking around in it, and you are manifesting what they want you to, because you've let their thoughts and feelings go into you, and you're projecting them now. I'm having trouble with that myself, because I'm trying to stay away from people that are doing that, because I can't be around them. I just got to get away from them, because they're
what I noticed, and this is back to Sharon, is that it was the media driving the story there that's going to separate, that the 80 million people who don't want to get vaccinated is ruining the world. And so it's straight up, either you're vaxxed or you're in. And it's going to become that's what we're going to see over this month. It's going to really create a problem. It's going to basically shut down everything, I believe.
Oh yeah,
you get rid of half the people at any workforce, the place ain't going to run for long.
Well, already at one of my local community medical centre is advertising for workers, because they're all leaving, because they're all burned out. Anything community, you burn out in 2 years. That on the ground community work, whether you're a health worker or a housing worker or a job worker, and anything dealing straight with the public like that, there's a 2-year burnout. So they're all leaving. People are just leaving. Strange things are going to happen, because depending on what happens to the individual and how they react, everyone's going to have a reaction, and strange things are happening. They already started happening. They so want to bang the drum and get everyone singing the same song, but no, that's never happened in history. You always get some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. It's just a fact.
Right.
I must say, though, this morning I saw this strange-looking woman from Parliament saying, we're coming out to get you unvaccinated people. It was like a witch hunt thing. And I looked at it and I went, oh, my lady, do you know what you are doing to yourself? If it didn't if it was a lady. But
hard to know these days.
I really think they do know what they're doing. This is not counting. This is something. We're born at the right time to see something, because nothing makes sense. To me, nothing of this makes sense. You can't travel because of COVID, but if you have a vaccine, you can travel. But no, you can't travel. What?
That's a trick.
Nothing is making, you can't cross a border to exchange money, is basically what it comes down to. You had all the things that were involved in that new USMCA of accountability and against what counterfeit products and everything. Now, if that's all signed, that's one hell of a shock to the system. That's just disrupting the situation. And I mean, everything that they're saying has another side to it. And they're just driving their narrative. They're manifesting their narrative onto us by the TVs,
Yeah.
by the media, and they're all owned by somebody. First in Disney at the top, so they're coming after us.
There's more of us than them, though.
But I just wanted to add, I agree with you 150%, and I'm going to throw this down. I think that they're lying about the numbers, and they're just using all of this. They were going to do all this anyway, right? I mean, so today is the big holiday, right? To me, it's their holiday of something they created. And the show that I usually listen to, right? And so I refuse to participate. And Luna, like you said, we have to be so aware of what we step into now and what we give energy to. And I just refuse to participate in this day. And this is 20 years of this stuff. And the one show I did listen to is a local show. And so he kept asking the audience, it's a 2-hour show, he kept asking the question, what would have been different if this day had not happened 20 years ago? And he kept getting frustrated because everybody that called in talked about, quote unquote, the conspiracy theories. And, you know, when the show was all over and I was thinking about why I was raging, it's like, you cannot talk about that day because we haven't gotten the truth. Nobody has the truth. And we're running around with all of the events that have changed our lives. JFK, Robert Kennedy, all of it. We've never gotten the truth. And that has driven a wedge between all of us. And so those of us who know that, we go around with this conspiracy bag on our back. And they look at us and treat us like we're whores. Like, I felt like the comments he kept making were, you people, you conspiracy people. And what's changed, in my opinion, in this last 18 months is those of us who you want to call that, we are now done capitulating to them. We're not going to play the game. We're not going to serve them ice cream and whipped cream. We're not going to play the game. I played the game for so long with them. Now we're starting to confront them. And we're beginning to come into our own. And so I think that this in its own way is about manifesting in the sense that the stronger we become, we are manifesting, like you said, Luna, quietly. Like, we're going underground now, Bernays, and we're making decisions. And you too, Donnie. We're going and we're making decisions quietly. Like when we got the edict this week, right? We all got the edict per country. And we go in quietly and go, not on a bet are we doing this. Right? And then we start to think about I start to think about, okay, what's my plan? What's my plan? What's my plan? That I'm not going to participate in this. Right? And that, I think that is contributing to the manifestation of what we're doing here. Because you asked a question, we won't go to the end, Luna, but you asked the question, how do you measure it?
Yep.
Sometimes you can measure it by actually manifesting what you've been praying for. but sometimes you can measure it by how you feel as a person and how you start to feel. Like I think we've talked about on the
Yeah.
on the roundtable a couple of times. Are you starting to feel stronger
Yes.
in your beliefs?
Yes.
Are you
Strong and
becoming
calm.
more committed?
Yep. Yep.
Yes, and you're exactly right. That it is quietly because it's individuals, and we're probably we're probably way out front and ahead of this, like we've been all along. And just what gets me is your man asks you a question as a theory. What would the world look like? That's a theory. He
Yeah.
asked you for a theory, and then he wants to call you a conspiracy theorist. He's
Well, I
he's
think
stupid.
again, he is, but it's a way to separate us. It's a way to have he said, I'm so exhausted with you people calling and having these theories. I'm so exhausted. And I thought I wanted to scream at him because we're sick of you too. You have no idea.
But as
Talk
far
about manifesting.
as far as manifestation goes, what I was trying to say before, these people that are perpetrating these things,
Yes.
them as individuals are manifesting really bad things for themselves because what they're putting out is not good. It hasn't got a nice, high, loving vibration or a good intention. And as we know, what you put out comes back. So I don't think they've even looked at what they're manifesting. So they're pumping out fear. I'm going to enslave you, basically. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. And they've been singing it for nearly 2 years now. So what they're manifesting for themselves as individuals, I don't think they've looked at it. All they saw, like, I'm manifesting money, I'm going to make all this money out of this, I'm going to be in control, I'm going to have all this. But there's two sides to everything. The other side is, because they've put all that negative energy upon the populace, and the populace's manifestation ability is greater than theirs. So, the more that we wake up and realise we're going to put our own things forward, not what they're telling us, not fear, it'll turn it round, and they will actually manifest individually for themselves not a very good world. And they could even get very sick and die just from the energy. Because
Right.
I agree with you 100%. And when you said it earlier, I heard it, but it's hard to always agree and jump in on you, and I didn't want to. But yeah, they're getting some massive karma put on their books.
yeah,
It's unbelievable what they're willing to take on for this situation.
and nobody really loves them right now. So they're not getting any of that good. We're not manifesting loving energy for them either, you know.
Right.
But we're not being as mean as they, because we're not going. You know, we would like to, but I notice that about people. We would like to do all these things, but we are holding ourselves. We're being respectful, and we'll try and till the very end to do the honourable, righteous thing against this. But I know, bottom line, end of days, for them, they manifested something real bad for themselves. Every single one of them, even the new ones popping up, spouting the same stuff. And if that's what they want, good, they can have it. But as far as the rest of us go, we want something beautiful. Whether it be that big house, or having lots of people around you, or just a happy world where everyone's happy. Everyone's got something like that.
Yeah, I really think that they're like spoiled children who are not getting their way. And like you said, we're not loving them right now. We're being more adult in our silence, and we're saying, no, we're not playing your game anymore. You're not, you're acting like a baby. And we're not going to, we see, I think that this time is very important, and that in some ways we don't really have a choice except to be true to what we are. And, you know, we have a responsibility, and more is being put on us by our Creator. And I know we've talked about this on many roundtables. We are getting messages from our Creator. Are you going to go around putting out negative thinking? What are, like I think when I think about things that are being introduced, I have to remember not to get too locked into it emotionally. I have to get it out. It's almost like I kind of have to get it out, but then I have to get back into what am I manifesting?
Where you are, yeah, what you're doing.
Exactly.
That comes back to careful what you see and hear, because it'll slip in your eyes and slip
Yes.
into your ears, and before you know it, you're thinking and feeling things that you weren't intentionally doing. That's what I'm talking about, that energy coming in, what they're trying to manifest. So it goes in, and then all of a sudden you're spouting things and you feel uneasy. We don't want that.
Well, we've also come to a time, like you both said, where we have now said enough is enough within ourselves,
Yes.
that we're not going to accept certain ways or attitudes, that we're going to live our lives how we wish to see them. Not that we're going to impinge upon anybody else, but that either our morality is going to encircle us, or you're not going to be in the circle.
Yeah. Our manifestation rights, because Creator gave us all rights of manifestation to use as free will. So basically, when you put your arms out and you go out a couple of feet after that, that's your space, right? That's your personal space. Well, no one really has the right to come in and muck around in that space. And you've met people like bouncers, they stand there, no one goes in their personal space, do they? They walk around them and they just stand there with their arms folded against the wall, and everyone looks at them and walks around them because they're strong in their own space. And we're all getting to that as this is happening to us. We're all getting stronger, and we're getting stronger in our own space, which means we'll be manifesting stronger as well if we're aware of it. Because while things are happening, you're not always thinking every day, what am I manifesting, what am I manifesting? You're doing stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's not till the end of the day you take account of everything, go, oh yeah, rightio, what happened today, how I felt, how I thought, and then go, oh, gee, I chucked a tantrum, then what am I going to manifest out of that? Someone else having a go at me? Or am I going to put a spanner in the works of the plan that you're trying to manifest? And where are the boundaries to manifestation? This is a good one, because they're overstepping the boundaries of their manifestation. It's coming onto us. How would we measure the boundary? When do we stop and go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm pushing all my beliefs and manifestations on you, I'll back off now? How do we know that boundary? It's invisible, obviously.
I mean, like, how do we recognize we're stepping on somebody else's?
Yeah, because at the moment we're all getting stepped on, right? Even by other people, not just the mainstream controllers. We know our boundaries are being pushed, but they're invisible. Right. Like, where are them boundaries? How do we know we're hitting them boundaries? Is it something emotionally tells us? Or is it a spiritual thing?
Oh, I think we all know when our boundaries are violated. Sometimes you reply a little quicker with when you've been violated.
Perhaps it depends on the severity.
The severity of the violation, of course.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I agree with Bernice. I think that maybe you're talking to a lot of quote unquote senior people here, right? I think been around for a while, and I think it's one of the first things you learn when you're doing this the boundaries, but I think it comes with having boundaries anyway. Do you have boundaries? Do you respect a space around other people? Do you respect other people's wishes? Do you respect the no in somebody? When you want something, do you respect creator saying no to you? Right? It comes down to being
Yeah,
self-aware, because creator sometimes says no.
that's right. Because there's a law there. We always get what we need, but we might not always get what we want. And creator will step in. So knowing that, with what's happening now, creator's going to have to step in and stop them because they're overstepping the boundary and they're trying to manifest something that shouldn't be here. So somewhere along the line, something's going to step in and say no.
That's interesting.
That is interesting, because something, if nothing occurs, if this, and this is what makes no sense, is from where we came or where we're coming from, is that over a relatively super short span, we've allowed or been forced upon, manifested upon, to a decision that was never a decision for mankind, or at least for this written history of mankind. When have you actually had to have a violation of your personal being to be a member of society? And that's the strangest. That violates every law there is.
Exactly.
I think it even violates universal law. And if that's the case, they got help to pay.
They have.
Coming up real soon.
Do you think it's possible? Because if you look at some of their faces, especially the Australian ones, if you look at their faces, they're shit scared, right? You can see it in there, and they look terrible, like they've had nightmares all night and had no sleep. I think that reality's starting to come from inside of them, because you can't ignore that creator's voice in you, and you can't ignore your own spirit when it shouts out or whispers to you, you're going to be in big shit for this. I think they know it's coming. They know, and because they're just going, oh, it's my job, this is my job, I'm just doing my job. But when they go home at night and go to bed, their job's not happening anymore. It's just them and their family. And I think because these are the laws, LOREs. This is the law of universe, how it works. No one's exempt from it, not even them.
None of us are, and Sharon's got great points, and the three of us are sitting here basically in a relative agreement in three different places of the world, and you gotta expect that that's going on multiplied 369 all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not the only ones. We just might be the ones who sit here and spout off a little bit.
Yeah, I again, I am. Oh, what's a good word? I don't have a word, but I look at the pretendency person. He has got to be the weakest human being we have ever had in that position. Just weak. He's weak. He's weak physically, he's weak emotionally, he's weak spiritually, he's weak mentally.
Mm-hmm.
He's a terrible father, disgusting human being. And the audacity of this person who's left Americans to die in Afghanistan is demanding that we all step up to the plate and do what he says is a joke. And that's just our pretendency. This is all going on all over the entire planet, right?
Yeah.
And
well, most
I
places.
still have, but I think what is positive right now is what you two are saying, is that many of us, because of this person being like that, it's empowering. Because you think to yourself, this is me, I think to myself, if I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, dude, I'm going to go down with somebody like the Gladiator, who's a real human being, who's amazing and I respect. At least I could die by a sword and be respectful. But with this clown, I don't think so. And in some ways, the creator has given at least the American people this and almost laughed. And I think the power is in the laughing.
Yeah.
It is manifesting.
Yes.
It's manifesting your response.
Yes.
Like, you got to be kidding me. You're a joke.
Yeah, when you laugh, because laughter is one of those energies where it's something that everyone can do at the same time. It's a magical energy, laughter. Yeah, and if you're laughing and manifesting, obviously, why? Because you're alive, you'll be manifesting continuously, and you're laughing most of the time. What you're manifesting around you is really beautiful, because we'll talk about laughter another time, but it has this unique energy.
Yep.
On California, I saw something with Bill Maher. He looks like he's cracking up.
Mm-hmm.
He's turning on everybody.
Yep.
Now, what the hell is going on out there? This is a guy who was a perfect soldier for the left in comedy. So what happened? Jon Stewart is missing in action.
He's coming back.
Well, oh, okay, yeah, sure. When? But what I'm trying to say is all the comedians that used to back him up and tell all the jokes and stick the knives in, they're all sitting there looking terrible. Now, I'm not going to let a picture out on me because I don't look real good either. But these guys are the ones who are TV picked. They're picked for their photogenics, for their wit. You know, I mean, they get along, but they're starting to really fold up. Terrible.
I actually started to think they were picked because they're malleable.
Yes.
There's a wonderful word.
Malleable.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up one other thing on going back to the manifesting thing. I think that it became a cottage industry for a while, right? And I'm trying to think of that book that was so popular.
Yeah, manifest. That's another part of manifesting. Yeah, we need to talk about manifest what you want. 5 steps to manifesting what you want. I know that book on. I can't think of the name.
Yeah.
It's about manifestation.
You guys probably know what I'm saying. I can't think of the name of it, but it was really popular out there.
Yeah, there is a problem with that kind of manifestation.
Yes. That's where I was going with this. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
Explain it, Sharon. People need to know.
Well, I think I bought into that for a long time. And it didn't work. And I couldn't figure out why not. And part of it is I wasn't doing the work, right? The spiritual work that goes into it. Sometimes I think we're required to change, let go, bring something out of ourselves when we manifest. I wasn't bringing in spirit enough, so I wasn't listening. And it seemed like all I had to do was obey those laws, the ones in the book, and I would get it, but it wasn't happening. And so I kept butting my head against the wall. And I remember going through a dry spell and not finding a job, which to me is manifesting, right? And I got more and more frustrated and more stuck. And I just remember I finally got a dumb job. I'll call it a dumb job. So I could stop the energy from being so negative. I got any job I could. I finally just said, look, myself, you're so doggone stuck. Go get it. And I got a job as a guard at Macy's, guarding purses.
Oh, yeah.
I had a blast. I thought it was so fun.
Cool.
I caught people stealing. And I made them put all the stuff back. And the stories they told me why they stole stuff was hilarious. So I just said, well, please go back in the store and put it back, which is illegal. You're not supposed to do that. I did it anyway. And I had a blast. I helped people put purses away, and I love purses and shoes, so I just guarded the purses. It was so... And I told the guys I was working with, I said, they're not going to steal those purses on my watch. and they didn't.
Cool.
So, but what it did was brought back the fun part of working, and then I got the job I was looking for. So I think, as we go along in our lives, I think sometimes growth is expected, and you have to grow, and you're not going to manifest unless you do, because there may be things you need to let go of. So manifestation is a form of growth, a spiritual growth, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
In
brings.
in a way, we're seeing it. Like I said, we're seeing these people fold up on TV trying to enforce their manifestation as we're basically sitting back going, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
what.
not only no, but hell no.
This is where I was talking about responsibility, personal responsibility. You got to be responsible for what you are manifesting, really. And I suppose it comes back to the measure of the substance of your being. If you're a good being, you'll probably manifest mostly good stuff. You won't be really selfish. You've done your spiritual work. You know what it is to be giving and truthful and honest and loving and all that stuff. And then you kind of, because you're being responsible, you're rewarded more. Your manifestation level goes up, if you know what I mean. Because there's two ways: you can steal it, or you can have it given to you. The others they're stealing the energy. I'll tell you now, what they're stealing energy to manifest what they're doing. Right? It's not being given, obviously, because we're all balking at it and we know they're doing the wrong thing. And the fact they're stealing the energy, that's what's going to come back on them. People can do it. Like, you get those material people that want to have a big business, and they will get people and take all the energy out of them to put to their business. And they're not necessarily, most of them aren't very good bosses because they're just sucking everyone dry. They're stealing the energy out of everybody else to manifest their dream instead of putting their own hard work in and loving those people and caring for them and letting it manifest naturally. Can you understand what I'm saying? There's two ways of sourcing the energy for manifestation. That's just how I see it anyway.
Now that, Luna, you just triggered something in me. I don't want to look like Connie's GIF here. Listen. But on Twitter, somebody I met in Australia, and they go by Jung. Of course, I'm Bernays, so I'm more Freud by the names. But this person found where the corporations down there in Australia are purely looking at data mining for energy. And it's like insane. They want to take our personal data to run it through the computers so that the computers power another program. It's absolutely where the technology has turned is, I guess it's that movie Matrix. It's unbelievable when you start reading these they're all Australian companies.
Yeah, bloody companies. Actually,
aren't they all doing that? Isn't that what cryptocurrency is? Isn't it energy?
Yes. But how these perspectives explained it, it's just, I mean, they dumbed it down enough so that you can read it and go, wow. It's all over money and IDing us basically to geolocation so that they can vampire suck the energy out of us.
Exactly.
It's
they're kind of doing it now with the fear that they're generating and putting in people.
Yes.
I was thinking the other day, well, what are they doing with that energy? where's it going? And obviously they're trying to manifest something out of that energy, right? They're taking everyone's energy, which is fear. They're trying to manifest
Right.
something from that fear.
Yep.
I I haven't looked to see what it is yet, and maybe I don't want to know. But I realise I saw it being sucked out and sent somewhere. They're relying greatly on that energy. I think they bought more than they bargained for. But like we said before, going by the laws, it's got to balance out that energy. They're stealing people's manifestation. Obviously, putting fear in them, they're stealing their manifestation powers. So I've got to say this, right? And I'm even saying this to myself. Every single time I talk about a certain subject, I feel like I'm contributing to manifesting it.
Right.
Right, and I've tried to avoid the subject. And yeah, it's obviously what's happening now, and the people. Well, we've talked about it already, right? I don't know how to get through life at the moment, avoiding it completely. So I don't manifest it in my life. Because every time I speak to someone, they need to talk about it. What is this? Are we addicted to the need to talk about this? Is there an unconscious thing triggering us? Are we contributing to the manifestation? Because when it comes up, I catch myself thinking about it, and then the other part of me will click in and go, no, I'm not thinking about that. Just put love there. Just put different energy there of a loving kind. But
Well,
go,
I
Sharon.
was going to say, Luna, too, let me add to what you're saying is you never stop a habit unless you replace it. And it can be replaced by something negative or something positive, right? So one of the big lessons I learned about not drinking is I had a lot of free time once I stopped drinking, because all the hours I spent drinking, I got those hours back and I didn't know what to do with myself. Now I do. But my point is, when you listening to what you were saying, I'm thinking we're stuck in some ways if we're unconscious about talking about it, whereas we need to start doing replacement stories for it. In other words, what are we going to replace this drama with? If we take today, I don't want to talk about today, but if we take today, for example, and replace it, right? And so today I especially chose not to watch any of it, not to watch it, not to listen. I don't want to hear any stories about it. Enough. And it's not because I'm hard-hearted, because I don't want to do this anymore. But what am I going to replace this with? Or, all of the junk that's going on, it's been going on for 18 months, they keep introducing new junk. Well, in some ways, we have to respond to that, right? We have to manifest something opposite. And so it's keeping us busy, but is it really going in the right direction? And is it time for us to think about, hey, if we had the life we really wanted, what would that look like? And can we start to manifest that now?
Exactly.
Instead.
Yeah, Sharon, that's where I'm at. Okay, everyone, we're all over this. Let's rise ourselves up and look to what is coming in the future. Because they're relying on us to get caught up in the washing machine effect of all what's happening, like you said, and bringing back things like that. I noticed yesterday, the day before, I was having a quick look around, and I'm thinking, oh, look, they're starting to bring other things up. They must be running out of things to make people scared because they're banging the same tune and everyone gets sick of it. So they're bringing up other things from the past. Yeah, look at this, look at that. And it's like, you know what, we're over that too. Like you said, you chose not to think about it anymore. And I'm thinking, I don't blame you, girl. That, you can acknowledge something. There's your thought for the day. I acknowledge it and then move on and think about something else. Yeah, we need to look into the future. What are we going to manifest for the future, people? Pull ourselves out of now, lift up. I always say to people, just raise your whole being up until you realise you're above all the stuff happening in the world, and you can tell because it's quieter and clearer. And look forward to the future. Let's start manifesting that. Let's put our creative energies into that and do it now before they tell us what to do, because they're going to start telling us what to manifest for tomorrow, right? Like here in Australia, they already are. They're trying to tell us this is what tomorrow's going to look like. And it's like, yeah, fuck off. Sorry. Getting a bit comfortable there. So, yeah, people, let's take responsibility for our manifestation gifts and look at tomorrow. So when I look at tomorrow, I see people coming together. I see people, for a start. When you look outside at the moment, there's not much people around. But I look into tomorrow, I see people coming together, people talking from all levels of society. And I see this happening in open air, on the street, in the neighbourhood. I already have started looking to see those good things. So I can hang on to them, whatever they bring me later. I'll go, no, I've already looked before you looked and I saw that. So you can't remove my vision and put something in there. That's how I feel about it anyway. That's what I've been doing. And I've been trying to tell other people, please rise up and look at the future for us, all of us, and put some loving energy there before they get there.
Actually, that's really good. I've had a hard time doing that. I don't, I think I've been so busy responding in my own head, right? Not verbally, but in my own head while they throw out possibilities here. And I've been listening to Cliff High, and he has been saying the exact same thing, is that we have an opportunity to change things that have needed to be changed for a long time, to discover things that we have not been able to discover before, like history. What really happened to us, who we really are, things like that. And I think that's definitely a possibility.
And you hit the nail on the head there, Sharon, who we really are. And I think at the moment...
Who we really are.
Yeah, as a being.
As a being, yes. But to manifest is like alchemy. And for the alchemist, you must be pure yourself for the alchemy to work. So it's a really hard balance when you look at it in that way, that you're actually doing alchemy.
Yep.
To manifest your future. So as the alchemist, you got to be pure at heart or pure in mind.
Yep. And there are people out there that are. There are people out there that instead of doing like everyone else has done and gone and got a carpenter's job or whatever, a plumber or a technician or, the coffee shop worker, whatever, they've devoted themselves to that pathway. And they're working silently, I tell you. They're all out there working silently because they can. I had to chuck that in just on their behalf.
No, God bless them for being out there doing the jobs they do. I hear you. I wonder how many of us out here are thinking about all of the same things. I'm guessing many. I'm guessing there are many of us who see exactly. Again, listening to the whole thing today, it's like you don't really have to prove to anybody how you feel anymore, right? Those days are over as well. We don't owe anybody an explanation about how we feel. We don't owe anybody an explanation or the quote-unquote conspiracy things we think about. That's ridiculous. We don't owe anybody any explanations about any of that anymore. It's over. And now we can just move forward and think about, okay, I need to move this to the next level.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of things like that have changed. So, because I'm just thinking, looking from up in the sky down at all of us, what's happening is actually in our favour. It's taught us a lot of things about ourselves, about our heart, about our spirit, about our manifestation powers. And that for some, that they even exist because they're watching things being manifested and going, no, I don't want that, and they're starting to manifest their own stuff. And they probably never had to do that before. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I'm going to say now. Defending people. I'm on the defensive today. I'm defending you today. Yeah, so what's happening, I see it on many levels. There are bad, shitty stuff happening, but there's a lot of good stuff happening too inside us. I'm watching people I never expected to hear some of the stuff coming out of their mouth, you know, or watch them do the things they're doing. It's like, wow, this would have never happened until now. Because everything will be balanced in the end. That's one of the laws. Everything must be balanced. So we've had a lot of shitty things already, a year and a half of crappy, shitty things. So we got good things coming, you know. There's good things coming. Good people are learning to manifest beautiful things. A lot more people are saying, I love you. Strangers are uniting, you know. So we are manifesting beautiful stuff. I don't think we're looking at it. We're too busy looking at the bad manifestations instead of actually realise what people are manifesting inside themselves, and it comes out into the world. The little tiny things. They don't always have to be big, great manifestations. They can be many, many little tiny manifestations, and all of a sudden the whole picture looks different. Like a pixel, you know? We're like little pixels. Yeah. And if all the little pixels are nice and clear, you get a different picture. So, oh look, now I'm starting to rant.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'm starting to rant. Come on, people, get your manifestation gifts in order, clean them up, sort yourself out.
I like that. Be a cute little pixel, a well-lit pixel.
That's it. Yeah. And how clear do we need to be, honestly, Benaise? You know, some of us don't eat right, don't exercise. We might have what we shouldn't. So, like you said, we might not have the clear body and the clear mind, but you might have a clear heart. And I'm sure that we're still working, you know. We're not broken. We look at ourselves in this. The way we live is not right. We all know that, but we're not broken. So we're all individually okay on some level. I'm pumping out the positivity.
No, you got to armor up at times.
Yeah, we need to armor up.
And just take it on. Because that's what's going to happen. It's going to come at you from here, from there, from every which way.
Yeah.
But you're saying to manifest yourself, I think.
Yep.
You have to secure yourself first.
Yep, you have to go in. Do you think that, I was just had a look and I thought, all those people that are falling into the negative manifestation at the moment and they're running in fear, maybe they manifested that for themselves. We don't know what their life was, right? Maybe things in their life brought them to that point and they put themselves there. We don't know that because we're not there.
Which people are you talking about? The ones that are
all the
playing the game?
Yeah, and getting up and taking the medicine. Yeah, like
you mean like the political people?
Or everyone, even the neighbours that like my neighbour that sits on her veranda with her mask and her phone and watches everybody walking past. Like, obviously she manifested that for herself, sitting in that little block of fear, because you know. She manifested it for herself. Obviously, she did that over the past so many years, and that's her place now. Do you get what I'm getting at? Like for us, we've always been no free will, respecting each person's space, and you know we're that kind of people. We wouldn't put that on you because it's disrespectful. And we're here. We're standing in this place.
Yes.
We manifested this for ourselves. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we're all
I
got to
do.
be
We do.
responsible for our own manifestation at some point.
Right. So, in other words, everybody that's listening to this, we all chose this path.
Yep. And where
We
you
all
are right
chose to
now.
take. We all chose to believe what we believe.
Mm-hmm.
That we see things the way we see them. Yeah, that was the other thing I thought today. You know, I took a walk after the show, that show this day, and I thought about that as well. And I thought, I've always been like this.
Yeah. Same.
I've always been broken. I got born broken, you know, if that's how you want to see it. You know, I can't change it. It is what it is. And I think that's the thing about who these 80,000, 80 million, whatever they're saying, you know, we've lost patience with you. It's like, go ahead. You know, better people than you have lost patience with me. They're always giving me crap about, oh my God, not this again. You know, I just stopped saying it. So, in some ways, this is the same crap we've been hearing our whole lives. We're just hearing it on a bigger scale now. Now it's on TV.
Yeah, true. I thought the same thing the other day. I thought, hang on a minute, I've copped this all the time. This is easy to brush aside because we've been doing it our whole lives.
We have. That's the joke. I mean, it's like, why am I pissing you off now? I've been saying the same thing for ever since my mouth moved. So, but now you're mad? You know,
It's terrible, isn't it? It's just totally terrible. Nothing's actually changed. We are the same people we've been our entire lives.
Exactly.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you change the narrative
Right.
to
It's all your fault.
it's gotta be totally, it's unacceptable. If the flip of the narrative to believe that, and like I said, I understand the technology. I understand what is coming, but this enforced enslavement at the start is just, I don't understand it.
I don't think we're supposed to understand it, but I think trying to fathom and understand what they're trying to do and that, it will send you crazy. We're not supposed to. We just got to be who we are and laugh at them because they can't change who we are. Creator made us this way. We've always been like this. Like Sharon said, we've always been like this. It doesn't matter what they do. It's not going to change.
I can't tell you how often I prayed I wasn't like this, but that didn't help either.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
If
You
I
learn
could
to love
sit down
yourself.
with one of these idiots, I could just say, "Look, I don't like being like this. I wanted to be a normie. I wanted to just, you know, have a regular life and have a garden and pretend like everything's cool and be married and living the dream. You know, I'm living the dream." But that was
But
more
I
like
got a
nightmare
garden and
when
I'm
I
married,
tried
but I'm
that.
still not like that. They harass me all my life. How can you? When I was a young girl, I was only about 13. Literally, someone ripped it up me and said, "How can you be like that? How can you think like that?" And I'm standing there going, "Think like what? Be like what?" I was just being me. Like I didn't know there was a difference till I got older, and then looked at them and went, "Oh, now I get what you're going on about." But didn't. You can't make a tree.
Fourth grade, the teachers explaining the election system in the electoral college, and I said, "So you can get more votes but not get elected?" And she goes, "You'll never see it in your lifetime."
Huh.
So I guess I started at least in fourth grade.
Yeah, when we were kids, it was put in there. We were born that way, man. Creator made it. I think Creator's got this all under hand, and it's all about us learning about how to wield manifestation, how to be a good person, how to grow, you know, how to do all this stuff. And I always hear people laughing. I know they're laughing at us. Upstairs is laughing at us all the time. Look, they're watching the scary movie and they're scared right now. Wait till they see the end.
I can wait.
Yeah, that's kind of like
I
it.
can wait.
Your lips to God's ears, Luna.
So, back to manifestation. Let's talk about positive. manifesting laughter. We manifested laughter. You can manifest a really good day, you know, if you wanted to. You just got to get a hold of yourself and realise how I'm manifesting. Donnie's not saying much, but earlier on the chat here, he was talking.
Typing a lot.
Yeah, he was talking about singing up, because when we call it singing up, we can actually sing into a manifestation. But then it comes back on you whether you're doing the right thing. Are you impending on that person's free will and their own creative energy? Like, there's all these laws come into it, and you got to be prepared to. There's a cost if you do the wrong thing and break all them natural laws. There's a cost,
Right.
and that was one of my questions. Manifestation at what cost? And as I explained about earlier about what they're doing and trying to manifest, there's a cost to it. We talked about that cost. Because you can't have empty spaces. Like you said before, Sharon, if you have a habit, you got to change it into something. You got to have something positive to put in there, right?
Yeah.
So if you manifest something, you're getting that energy from somewhere, so something has to replace it. So there has to be a cost of some kind. I feel that cost is an emotional cost. It could be a happy one or a negative one. So it'll result in you manifesting a good life and having joy, or manifesting negativity and living in hell, literally. People don't think about the cost when they want something. They just go for it. I want this is what I want, I'm going to manifest it. They don't think about the cost at the end. Or the exchange of energy is another way to put it. Move one energy, you have to move another and fill that space. And that can be anything. It can just be creator's love, which would be the optimal choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And these are real things. And I don't know about what people like. The things that are getting manifested in the world right now, no one has looked at the cost. Even those people, that lady sitting on the veranda, my neighbour, she hasn't looked at the cost of what she's doing in another 3 years' time, sitting on her veranda with her mask, playing on her phone every day. There's a cost to that, what she manifested.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it from the view of a cost. Now, to me, it seems like if you manifest. So, in other words, if we go back to the job situation, if I manifest a good job, a job that feels like it's good for me, is there a cost? Are you saying there's a cost?
What
to
did it cost
that?
you? Yeah. So, on your journey manifesting that good job, what did you have to do? You had to put positive thought.
Oh, okay.
You had to
Energy.
put
So,
good
but
energy.
I guess I would use
Yeah.
I'd use the word energy.
Yeah, it costed energy.
what-
It'll either cost
yeah,
something
what-
physical or it'll cost energy.
In other words, in other words, okay, so in order to get the job, I had to spend more time during the day. I had to call more people. I had to take more action. And you're saying that's what you say is a cost.
That's your
correct?
cost. That was your cost, yeah. The cost is always different depending on what you're manifesting. But that was your cost. You kind of paid it forward because you did the footwork and then got the
Yes.
thing, right? Yeah,
Yes.
it can go either way. You can get it and then do the footwork, or you can do the footwork and get it, right? So it can go either way.
Right.
And I'm so glad. I was just thinking about Nasay actually, and I looked up and realised that he's in the chat room, and he always comes near the end because he gives us such funny wisdoms sometimes, and really wise ones. So jump in when you want there, Nasay. We're talking about manifestation because I know you'll have a lot to say. So there's got to be some sort of exchange of energy there, the cost, whatever way you want to put it. So the greater the manifestation, probably the greater the cost.
Right.
So if you're stealing energy off other people for your manifestation, right, what kind of cost is in that? I've never really thought about this because I wouldn't do that. I don't think.
Well, it depends on why they're here. I'm beginning to think there is no karma. except for people who are aware. If I'm wondering if they're doing what they're supposed to do here, which is to wake us up. Sorry, Bernays, go ahead.
Well, I PPP'd, so I'm on a speculation island trip here. But what you two just said about manifesting and doing the work, that it's almost no different than what they're talking about the computers doing with the data to create energy. It's almost like you described two parallel worlds, one in carbon and one in silicon. It's we're both doing the same thing, driving for energy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So if we kind of look at Donnie's comment, right, about what I said, let me say this differently. On my higher self days, and I don't think about puppets, it's probably better. Because the puppet people have a job to do. And they're doing it. And we have to wake up right now. And I think Creator wants a lot of people to wake up right now. Right now. That's how I see this. This is about, for whatever reason, I can't presume what it is. I've heard theories. That's okay. I don't know for sure. But I think the puppet people have a job to do. And I never think about karma or any of that junk because I'm not sure I believe in it. I believe that different beings have different things they're supposed to do here. And I think that my gig here is this big learning classroom. So I have a lot to learn. And this is a huge time for us to learn many, many lessons. Right?
It sure is. And we are.
Yeah, it is. And we are, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's like multiple lessons flying at you constantly
Right.
to pick up, and I don't care how good you are, you're only going to pick up so many, and then they're probably going to repeat right back at you in a different fashion to try to trigger your brain, and then you have to reply in turn to manifest what you want out of it. So yeah, I'm screwed up right now because I'm in that circle loop on the energy and the data being driven and us manifesting.
Yeah, it's a funny subject. I actually didn't have one for this week, and it sort of came yesterday, right at the last minute. And I'm glad it did because it just helps us to look at everything in a different way because we're all contributing. We are all contributing to this, and it's making us more responsible for our contribution.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm really happy because it has forced us to look at everything that we've never looked at before. I've looked at these things, but not in the depth that I'm looking at now. So for those that have done it before, we've gone deeper. And those who never done it before, you're looking at it now. So we're all getting moved to the same page. There are a lot of benefits out of it. And I think that's what we need to look at, all the benefits, so we manifest more benefits. What are the good things coming out of this compost?
Well, we're all getting to know each other. We're all getting together globally. We've become a global village, even if it's underground right now.
Yeah.
I think when this is over, we would be able to go to any country and feel at home.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because now we understand at a very different level what everyone is going through.
So we manifested unity.
Yes. And like yesterday, I was at the bank, and this lady was from Istanbul. She lived in the UK for 3 or 4 years, and then she lives now in California. But she was talking about people in Istanbul, and and the moms and the dads and the grandmas and grandpas, and I said, at the end of the day, all you have are people who want their children to be okay. They want to watch their grandchildren grow up, and they want to make sure everybody has enough to eat and a house to live in. And that's it. That's it. It's worldwide.
That's basic security. How are you doing tonight, Nessa?
I'm doing very well, and as fantastic as the universe will allow. I'm currently on my 5th day of my fast, so my time is absolutely an illusion because I've been sleeping during the day and staying awake all night and not really knowing or paying attention to the illusion of time. But when I think of the word of the topic today, I think of man infestation. And then when I think of the word human. And if you break it down, hue is to hone or to shape or to manipulate by man. And so our manifestations, are they actually ours, or are they part of the social conditioning that we have encountered our entire lives, growing up in our own domiciles or residence? Because the governments around the world have done exactly the same as all governments around the world to manipulate their citizens, their products, their property, their assets to consume. So as we manifest this, that, or the other thing, are we really manifesting our needs, or are we manifesting our wants? And it would be beautiful, like you were talking, Sharon, about the woman from Istanbul, that once Constantinople, that they talk about just manifesting those basic needs, Maslow's hierarchy, food, shelter, and clothing. And we've been conditioned to want more than our basic needs. Because I believe that we have failed humanity when we go beyond our basic needs and our neighbors don't have those basic needs. Because we all know absolutely that within a mile radius of us, there is a child going to bed tonight without food, without those basic needs. And it's understandable that we get concerned about ourselves, because that constant question of who am I, where are we going, and what do I do? Because it's hard when we're manipulated by all the stimulation that's going around us abundantly, and these labeling that people are trying to give us. And on top of that, with the weaponization of fear that is happening right now. And I feel that the universe is in constant flux of finding balance. When I talk about positivity, neutrality, and negativity, it is in a constant flux back and forth. So if you want to call that karma, then so be it. Because when you get yourself far into the positivity, you can easily be slingshotted all the way back into negativity. And then you're in negativity for a while and you slingshot back to positivity, maybe not as far, maybe further, but then you slingshot back to negativity. So it's constantly in flux of neutrality. And the powers that should not be, they want that flux, they want that oscillation, because that's how the piston goes. And incredibly enough, inside our own hearts, that's how it goes too. Bum, 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 bum. So we're constantly into that, and people get upset with me because I talk about the creator or God or whatever that may be, or what it might not be. I don't think it loves us, and I don't think it hates us. I think it just accepts us for who we are. And I bring up the sphere a lot. And so if I think of us or the individual, the I am that I am in the center of that sphere, the parameters of that sphere is God. You set the parameters of what your God is. And on one side, it's positivity, and on the other side, it's negativity. And we try to find ourselves in the center of that sphere. And then when you find the seventh direction, which I call it, and other people do call it also, where you have up, down, front, back, left, and right, 6 directions. And the seventh direction is the center of yourself. And when you look deep enough into the center of yourself, you will find that sphere again, or you'll find that God of yours. Because the same goes for science. Because when you break down science, when you quantify and you go down to that minuscule point, you find basically a black hole or a black sphere. And then when you look into the center of that sphere, you'll find a light. And then when you go deep into that light, next thing you know, you find another black hole. And then you find infinity.
Yeah, that's well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. And it relates, before you were here, it relates back to me talking to my friend in Canada today, who is definitely set because he's 84 years old and his world is set in his mind and how he's going to live it.
And that's the beauty of children, and this is where I so dearly adore children, because they live so free comparatively. As we grow older and we become curmudgeons and we become intolerant of each other and we get angry and we get mad, so simple compared to these children, where they'll be angry for a little bit and then, like a light switch, it's off. And I think this is where in the Bible where they talk about being like a child, living life like a child. And I've said it before, I would rather be a child acting like an adult than an adult acting like a child.
True that.
It seems like a lot of wasted energy if you have a misunderstanding to keep that misunderstanding in play. It's like you said, it's a switch. You just return, you come back as a child, and it's hi, it's whatever. It's you're restarting from there.
Absolutely. But I do claim to be the stupidest man I know, so take it with a grain of salt.
I'd give you a run for the money any day.
Well, lucky
Well,
we
I
know.
win because my wheelchair goes 8.5 miles an hour. Just point me in the right direction.
I was going to say, lucky we know other stupid men, so you're not that stupid after all. So, everyone, I'll keep going. Sorry, Nosy.
I was just going to say, this has been the hardest fast I've had, and I did it to myself.
How long does it go on?
I'm trying to go for 10 days.
And what, do you just do water and clear soup and things like that?
Just water.
Oh my gosh. Dude, 5 days is a long time.
Well, I've done, my friend said just to claim 9. but I've only did like 8 3/4 a day. But my goal is to do 10 days because it's really beneficial to your immune system. It resets your immune system and it helps clear you out. And it's funny because like even on the 5th day you're still producing. And so when I tell everybody I prove it once a day how much excrement I'm full of, even on the 5th day of fasting I'm proving it.
That's all.
So
That's just all them bison burgers, bro.
no, it's probably a lot of stuff. Usually before I start the fast, I try to eat really healthy. But I had my youngest with me, and we had a heck of a weekend together. And I even went so far as having ice cream with crushed up peanut butter cups. And so the sugar is a demon. If there are such things as demons, then I would say sugar is one of the pinnacle ones.
Yeah, I've got a
But
question.
I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry.
No, well, actually, no, you arose a question in my mind. So because listening to you fast virtually, you're letting go of all the crappy stuff to receive a healthier benefit, right?
Right.
And that's kind of in manifestation. You got to you let go of stuff. You want something new to come. You got to let go of stuff before what you need or want is received. And I suppose that's tailored to what it is you want to manifest in your life. But
Oh yeah, and the tears I have been shedding during this fast has been so clearing.
is that you, bro? I wondered why I had tears running out my eyes. I'm thinking, I'm not sad. Whose tears are these? No, tears are good, actually. Letting go. How do you let go? There's lots of ways. Your body can let go. Oh, this is another subject, but your body can let go by crying, vomiting, sweating, peeing, puking.
Are we manifesting? Are we?
Pardon, Bernays? What are we manifesting?
Well, this
It went up in smoke. I'm sorry, Luna.
You're right. You're right,
Well,
bro.
it makes me think about, if I constantly bring up the positive, negative, and neutral. And so is manifesting, can it be negative if you're clinging on that manifestation and you're holding it too tight?
Yep. Yeah, we spoke about that
about
earlier.
that.
Yeah, the positive and negatives, and where you get your energy from to manifest. Because you can take it or you can be given to you. We spoke about that. Because right now, today, say there are people manifesting very nasty things, very negative things are happening, and they managed to manifest that, but they used other people's energy to get it, which is not the right way to do it, and it'll fall apart.
Well,
That's where I was going up in smoke. Are we manifesting from a pure place? Like Marseille says, the negative, the positive, the neutral. Are we trying to stay in the neutral to positive side as we manifest?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I try. Let's see, how can I say it? So my goal is to transmute negativity into positivity or minimally neutralize it. But I really attempt to stay into the positivity, because if the law of equivalent excuse me, if the law of equivalent exchange is true, then there's those others out in the universe that are creating negativity, And so, would it not be best to try to stay in positivity? Excuse me, I got to drink of water. But to stay in positivity, to try to balance out the negativity, and so then when you feel yourself getting slingshot back to negativity, how can we create a wall between neutrality and negativity so we can at least splat against that wall and stay in balance or stay in neutrality? Because it sucks to be in negativity. And sometimes when you get into negativity, it's hard to get out.
Yeah, it is. I think that's the trick, is learning how to not get caught in it or how to get out of it really fast. Practice. I don't know how long, lifetimes of practice.
You know, the other thing I noticed myself doing recently is, like, especially if I start to feel sad, because I feel like that's a waste of time. You know, there's a moment to grieve or something, but I just, like, yesterday I kept saying, okay, we don't have time for that. We don't have time. I'm talking to myself here. I don't have time for that. Do you really feel sad? And I'm thinking, no, I don't. It's like, okay. And so I think I'm wondering how easy it is to pick up on junk that you don't want any part of. You know, like this other thing that happened yesterday was really strange. It was like, so I left my place to go to another place to go to the bank. And there was this thing going on between my drive here and the bank. Like, I could feel it in my guts. I could feel it. And I thought, oh my God, what is that? Like, it was really strong. And then I got to the bank and it wasn't there. And then I came home and I felt it in the exact same place. And I was thinking, there's something going on here, right? I mean something powerful and not something good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at the same, because it hit me at the same place. And I'm thinking, got to be aware of those moments and not take it up. Or not, like you said, when we're talking about manifesting, we don't want to help them. We don't want to help anybody who's manifesting something that's not good or infringing on other people's rights. And maybe that's where I think we're being called to be aware and awake. I do. I think that Creator is calling us to awaken. Look, I really need you light workers to transmute this, right?
Yep.
That's what we were talking about. Transmute it. Feel it. Don't absorb it. Don't take it on. Notice it and transmute it. It's like, okay, no, I choose not to feel this.
Yep. I wanted to put a sign up that said, you are entering a fear-free zone.
Yes. Yes. People would welcome
100 on that. Fear free.
Yeah, fear free. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just got to find a big piece, something to do it on, because I don't want to do graffiti, because that's against the law. that's destroying
God
someone's
forbid
stuff.
we don't obey the law there, but yeah.
Well, I don't want to
But you
destroy
can-
someone's stuff, you know, and
No,
write on
no.
something. You know.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, that's all right. And I don't know any young people that wouldn't mind doing it. Because some people are artists; they'll do art on anything. They don't care about that stuff. I need to find someone like that and go, do you want to do some artwork and have you're entering a fear-free zone? And then I can have another sign that says, think, love, and manifest responsibly.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Thank you, upstairs. You got to remember, a lot of what happens to me is from Creator. Like, half the time I don't know what's happening. Sometimes they don't tell me what's happening. I just do stuff. I get this energy, do stuff, and when it's finished, they go, look, and I see the whole bouquet. You know, they're getting me to wrap the paper. I'm thinking, I wonder what this is doing. Then I see it's wrapping flowers. Yeah, so I'm learning. When I open my mouth, I'm learning too from what I say. So I surprise myself sometimes. Okay, so anything else? Let's round this up. Manifestation. We'll round it all up. What have we learned today? We learned. I learned more about respecting other people's energy and manifestations. I learned what not to help. It confirmed my own power over myself. And I saw how much is really out there manifesting in these little, it's like a garden of flowers, each flower is someone's manifestation in the world. And each country's got all these different flowers of manifestation. There's a lot of manifesting happening. That's what I realised today. And we can't control it, we can only control what we manifest. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to throw this out there too. It's like I've spent a lot of time, quote unquote, prepping. And I don't want to keep doing that because it feels kind of fear-based. Like, I feel like I've prepped enough. You know what I mean? Like, I could prep forever, right? And maybe I'll be sorry I stopped. But I don't want to live like that either. I think we need to be smart about that. And you need to have some stuff that you need and all that stuff. But my big concern about prepping is it becomes this thing. It also becomes this thing rather than feeling like, well, what about a better tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because you're right. We're going to be creating our own reality here.
Well,
So,
I looked at prepping and I thought, no way can I store enough food for the people that are here for that amount of time.
exactly.
I haven't got the money to do it either. And yeah, I don't want to be sitting in the mouth of the cave every day watching for something to walk past. Is it today? Is it today? Is it? You can't live like that, Sharon, you're right. And it's living in fear again.
It is.
The wise man preps, but the foolish man thinks about it every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To wrap up and then I'll move out. I think some of us that are older remember Depression era people.
Yeah.
And Depression era people had a different way and they were old school.
Yep.
And from their old school passed on to us. And we're looking at it old school times and looking at what could appear on the horizon very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your basics of flour and sugar and just basics, your stock pantry,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
you're probably as prepared as you can be unless you're going to go mobile and then you're looking into a whole different world of survival.
Yeah, true, because mobile, that's another thing, water, I thought about that. If you're mobile, you can't carry water with you. You got to find a different way of having it. Unless you were, see, this is the thing. What's happened right now around you? Like right now around me, right now it is peaceful as. It is so peaceful. I can hear it's a summer breeze outside. The things are jingling outside from the wind chimes. There's not much traffic outside. The people that are out there aren't all masked up.
Right.
Right now, the cats are happy. It's peaceful right now. So why not bathe in that peace? And if tomorrow there's something right at my face threatening me, I'll deal with it right then. But right, today is beautiful, and I want to be part of that beautiful day.
Well, when it comes to prepping, I would say minimally, you should have a backpack, a really good backpack, that's well adjusted for your body frame and to get up and go. And in there I can't confirm, deny that we have a few or maybe many different backpacks depending on the season. Because where I live in Minnesota, it gets cold. And so usually when the seasons change, then we grab out what is needed for the change of the season for wear, clothing, to survive out in the winter. And this has always been my goal, is to live on the reservation. because the people on the reservation, they know how to survive still with nothing because they have nothing. And I guess Luna's lucky or fortunate in her situation to know people that know the bush
Yeah.
and can go out into the bush.
Yep.
Because you can always run up there where Donnie lives.
Yep.
And
That's
with
right.
all of his tinkerings and stuff he has around, I'm sure he'll make you guys a space shuttle.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And if nothing else, a lean-to that everybody can kind of hang out. But I, again, I think it's come down to, well, are they at your door? No. One guy that was a prepper person, this was a long time ago, he said, this is it. He said, if you have a meal to eat and no one's shooting at you with a gun, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And I think about that. I think, okay, is anybody shooting at you today? Nope. You have food to eat? Yes. Then that's a good day, isn't it?
Yep. You
Right? I mean, and like you said, you don't want to miss the good days. You don't want to miss the days that are beautiful out there, or friends, or people you're talking to, or whatever. And I think a lot of the junk that we see out there is, again, what I see Catherine Austin Fitz calls it the shriekometer. It's just the shriekometer on steroids. And we don't want to get caught up in that, right? It's like a
Yeah.
carnival, like the dark kind, with the creepy clowns. And you just don't want to even go to the carnival. You just want to stay on top of the hill. Oh, look, there's the creepy carnival with the creepy clowns. I'm not going there today.
Yep.
Just gonna go on the other side of the mountain and skip it. Let other people go to the creepy carnival.
Exactly.
And that's kind of how I see them. Is the creepy carnival. Yep, there you go, Connie.
Thanks,
That's
Connie.
it right there. The creepy clowns.
Well, knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is enjoyable to be scared, or if you watch those scary movies,
Yeah.
because people will ask me why do I enjoy scary movies, and I usually tell them because I would rather see this knowing that it's all make believe than looking at the real world where it's more scarier. Not around me, but
Right.
knowing that
Yeah.
that evil or negativity is there.
I do the same thing. That's why I watch scary cave movies, because that scares me. And I sit there going, don't go in the cave. Yeah, and you know they're going to. Because they're going into
Yeah,
the
don't go in the basement and then go down there.
Yeah.
Turn the light on. They don't.
We all know it, but Naysay's right. I do the same thing. I watch that. Carl says to me, what are you watching this for? I go, because this is distracting me from that scary stuff outside. Yeah, and I can see it there. It's out there. There's some things that are that dark I don't even talk about them to my friends.
Right.
One day, only some of my people that I know I can actually handle the conversation. But it's out there. But we ain't going to feed it energy. We're going to manifest a beautiful world and feed the good wolf.
Well, I think what you said earlier, Luna, is manifest responsibly, love, if possible. Well, we know it's possible. Or was it love, manifest responsibly?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you ever think you're out of love, go and look at a nice kitty or a puppy or a pretty flower, and when you go, oh, you can go, oh, it's still in there. All right, my good people, we're going to round this up, and thank you very, very much for contributing to this conversation again today. And thank you all the listeners for listening. Thank you all the people in the chat room there for coming along and making it all worthwhile. And I want to thank Bernays and Naysay and Donnie for talking in the chat, and because he's Echo Mike now because he echoes. And I want to thank Sharon for coming along again. Until next week, round table, and we're missing our corner seat this week. Polly, there's nothing like a round table with a corner seat. So, all right then. Well, yeah, love to everybody. have a good day. Thank you, Creator, for making all things possible and watching us go through all this. Yeah. See you later. Okay.